And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that blunder. We missed the first couple interaction of this round, but the bomb is down in the favor of Sinister5. They jump straight into the Sinister down to one-man diver, and it's going to be really tough stuff behind a smoke. Diver closes it out. That's the first round going to Sinister5, and that's something you actually want to see, considering as their map pick, and it's going to be very tough for them to ground out this Inferno, and it does feel like they should be more comfortable on this map strategically compared to, you know, Nuke. Most of the players are well-rounded with this. They've scrimmed this a lot, they've pugged this a lot, so they should get more rounds on the board than they did on Nuke. We see the second round come in, goals. Full spy by Goliath Gaming.
Yeah, full spy, but a passive spread out here coming out of Sin5, and none of that Banana aggression going to be met with anything from this side. But Goliath Gaming fully investing into this round, and currently at the moment just have one player on that A bomb site. But now after this banana control, going to be retreating and looking to rotate all the way back. But Sin5, patience is the name of the game here, not falling for any of this foolery and committing to any side just yet, Tools.
I like it, you know, just don't contest banana. You don't know what the CTs are holding behind that smoke, so just waiting it out. But I think they should be taking mid control at any point in time. You know, 1 minute is about to approach, and not having control of anything isn't a good sign. You know, they have a re-smoke and banana in the form of Massacre, and there's 4 players sitting on this A side, so they're gonna have to take mid control and then maybe perhaps go towards that B side there. Dara picking up diver, lovely shot through a wall there. Deviant comes in from the left side, you know, left right swing coming out of him. Hacken trades it up and Simpson's there, remade, and they're getting destroyed here in the middle. That goes to Goliath Gaming, and lovely force by, lovely strategy implemented by them. And if you saw what they did from spawn, they lent 4 players towards that banana side. They took control of it. They rotated all 3 smokes there to keep that information, keep them from taking banana control. And again, they didn't want to push that banana smoke, right? So they were forced to go towards the A side where that stack was. And you know, if you're in middle and you're hitting that left-right punch from the left of mid and the right of mid, it's kind of hard to defend, right? You know, you're twisting and turning. If the players aren't disciplined enough to hold that angle and trust their teammates to hold another angle, it's going to fall apart like it did just there. But Sinister5 will retaliate with their own force, but they actually push this banana smoke, and Nadara picks up. Hacken put the rest off through, but they've lost the man for their efforts. And oh man, the grenade again. Goliath Gaming's banana control is sublime, as you can see right now. They're getting destroyed. Sinister5, 1 man, rogue, just a galley in hand. It's about the smoke. What can he do?
Yeah, I mean, much to say there, Rogue forced to push through the smoke. Hacken trying to maintain that banana control at the beginning of the round, but as that util starts raining in, the nade lands at sandbags, the molly pushes him out of that other corner, or the parallel corner there, and ultimately just make mincemeat there of Sin5's little hold there towards banana. I'm not too sure what the plan of action was there, but that being said, forced out to full blush, yeah.
Sin5 did force smoke, and Nadara picks up.
Nothing in it this one.
The rest off through, so, but they've lost the man for their efforts. Oh man, the grenade again. So tough to find the window, because you know, some teams they would wait for that pop, that smoke test to go bottom B,
they don't even know there's a player
flash to go right through.
So they have to wait for that and a player behind them with the AWP. How do they recover this? How do they do it?
No, they jump. Really control of
yeah, Target gets the player off guard and
just 1 man lost, potentially a second.
Some tight angle, tight shot.
But that banana control is so important to have, but at the same time, if you're not going to take it, you need to be able to
how much can he do?
Out of possibly take apps, take something, but sitting into the 1 minute clock and not having any control
force him into a weird situation where it's all down into especially when you're on the clock down. He has to potentially let them go past, because trading all of them, getting a spray down, he gets 2, it's fine, but still not enough to win the round. And the ARG actually clears sandbags, so
even fight here.
Triggered discipline,
he has
to find more.
He's gonna get 1, he gets 2, he does. Started off with that stock standard banana control once again. Sin5 having absolutely none of it. You can just see all of the players stuck towards that low ramp area, gonna wait for all of the utils to come down as much of it as possible, but without getting allowed this full banana control, and allows them to send this player back towards the A bomb site
a bit too soon there, but Dara picks him off and they have to wait for
in the response, nothing out of Sin5 just yet.
Whoa!
Taking it really slow, really passive, and now they're going to start retaking the banana, try to push that player off of that position.
Gotta make that
rotation. Give this amount of information, but I mean, already 1 minute on the clock remaining, and
with that flash, Hacken should have an idea of where the players come from.
Rogue going to start making a look in towards that apartment.
Zip,
gambling.
He doesn't, he's gonna stick it in the right call. Zip,
eat it down more
he's
and more.
making
There's
a
3
mask,
players.
he hears those footsteps, so he's gonna be able to
I'm not too sure
readdress
we got the bombs hitting
still
towards the
wary
middle.
of that
I think
opportunity.
he's
Forced to save. Hakim is
but
forced to
they're going to
save.
do the protocols. They're going to push
Yeah,
the
comes down to the shots. The
into
Zero
the
is going
side.
to get forced out of the air. But he gets a double frag.
That's what you want out of the terrorist. Be able to go into a side. You want to walk into a stack side. We do see them walking up and nice and slow. We got the spray down coming from Elusive and Zips, and that's overtime. Goliath Gaming. But this is single flash. Again, a grueling battle. 2 flashes on a Molotov. So
behind
it's
him
going
now.
to
He's
come
going
down
to
to
rotate back, and
the clock
you
is
should spot the
ticking down.
does, and he gets
have
the
to make
frag.
a play somewhere.
It's a bit shaky,
Because this
but
B-side, I don't
opens up
think it will
that
hold it,
rotation. They
considering
both
the
know
guns
now
that are
that
holding it.
there is
Needs
only
to leave
one
that
player on
spot
the
and
side.
rain
He
in,
gets
and
spotted
then
towards
they're
the Massive and takes it.
we got first player
with open
taking
arms
down,
and gets
sitting
the
in
frag
family. That's
onto
the side open.
Flexi.
This is what I was kind of afraid of, two complementing each other quite well. But he's alone in the side here. But he takes about a commence now 4v5.
But there are numbers in towards the banana area, so it's going to be up to Rogue to hold it down. Gets instantly traded out from Deviant, who gets a wealth of damage on his own. Mask able to pick a play on. He does spot another towards family, so positions have been found out here by Goliath Gaming, but they need to force them out. There goes the Molotov, lands badly though. Forces the play out though. Hakim forces the play area, but gets spotted out, but manages to get the flag through the box, and now it's all up to Zip now. Stuck in the CT spawn area, needs to get out, needs to escape, and I think that's all she wrote for this round here, Tools. But just to get touched back quickly on what you were saying there, I mean, Goliath Gaming tried to play that information play, or make that information play towards that A apartments, but the flashbang that she spoke of actually blinded Deviant, wasn't able to get that info, decided not to regress, repick, but then, too little too late, Sin5 had their 5-man breach, and at that point it was 5v2, and a long way before any sort of rotation could come in there. So great round there from Sin5, even though it was super patient and defensive, it was clinical towards the end, and they make that breach look easy and respond with a gun round of their own.
Sean, that's the tough part. Flexi getting taken down to 2 HP with that AWP from Zip. So the AWP duel, one card early from Zip. He'll feel quite happy and confident with that. But again, the contest of Banana still reigns supreme from Goliath Gaming. They still have it. They're going to hold it nice and strong. They're not going to make mistakes that they made previous round, but perhaps Sinister5 have a different type of play in mind. Only time will tell.
No, trades of nades going back and forth here, and middle control seems to be the name of the game here. They are allowed to do this and put a lot of pressure there, as they do have entire banana control here established from Adaro, just waiting for any sort of reaction from Sin5, but he's ahead of their smoke, so he's getting a wealth of information here for his team, and they've got the man advantage at the start of the round here, so things are looking good here for Goliath Gaming.
Agreed, and Adaro's going to fall back towards that B side, doesn't want to give his life away, any unnecessary picks or information, so Rotator should go back to that B side soon. Sinister5 have to sort of recover this round, and the regress from Zip and Ducky just adds more damage to the cause, and now it makes the life tougher, and it's down to Zio. He picks up a kill there in middle.
But the numbers
just gave away. Yeah, that just gave away. They're going towards the B side, and they're actually committing to it. Considering there's no time on the clock, the first pick goes towards Elusive with that AVP. They don't even know there's a player boosted, so they have to wait for that and a play behind that with the AWP. How did they recover this? How did they do this? Did they jump? Or did they do goals?
Yeah, Adaro gets the player off guard, and Flexi manages to pick his head off, and he needs to put the bomb down, but Deviant is coming in swiftly here from Banana, going to throw over the flashbang, doesn't connect. Flexi's position has been given away. No, it wasn't. Deviant thinks he's still the family. He's stuck in. Oh, what a peek there from Deviant. What a risk, but manages to put Flexi down, despite Flexi opening up that bomb site on Adaro, and nets another round there for Goliath Gaming. 4-2 for the side of Goliath Gaming over Sinister5.
Yeah, and you would have felt after Flexi hitting a crazy flick like that, he'll be able to convert that, especially considering he went to family, because, I mean, after that bomb plant, my head was like thinking, where could he go, where he can position himself after that bomb plant? Is he stuck in first orange? Could he get to second? But he got to family, which is even better, but Deviant, you know, battering him there with that M4, just taking him down, and it just puts more pressure on Sinister5. They're forced to do these buys, these wishy-washy buys, and from that you can't really, you know, put out the full default you want. You can't really push back the CTs to exactly where you want to position them to implement your finishing move, would be onto A side or B side. They have to go with the haymaker, they have to go with the set play that, you know, they have to bank on. But again, banana control, they're respecting it, which is okay. I don't mind this, but I mind what they do afterward.
Yep, that's going to be the critical and crucial part here, and you just see Goliath Gaming just absolute faith in their strategy or their structure here on the CT side, which revolves around this banana control and late sort of info towards this belt, but no real response from Sin5, you know, in respect to that. But now gonna start retaking banana control, gonna force that CT to progress back to the site. However, still with a strong hold on this A-bomb side, and this is gonna be tough for Sin5. They are electing to wrap towards this N2 side.
Oh man,
it's
gonna
come down to the
corner. Oh, he comes down and he destroys it, but Diver trades it out. The 4v5 at the moment. And, Zip, tight angle, tight shots. He gets the second through the smoke. What? And now it's just down to hacking again. He's a clutch master, but how much can he do? Possibly. Zip, another shot through the smoke.
They're not walls, tools. They're not walls. They've said it before.
They're not walls indeed, and Zip, they're coming in massive. He's sitting on the top of the scoreboard there with 11 kills, and he feels comfortable. This is his map, and sitting in archers. Essentially, in my mind, you're the captain of the rotation. You sort of have to dictate who goes where, and you kind of have to be at the right time at the right place. Because when we consider that last round, the one Sinister5 in the gun round where there was only 2 plays on B, he was that first rotator. He had to make the best decision for them. But this is the banana rush coming out. Does it profit them? Yes, they get a kill, but it gets traded out. And that's a 2-for-1 trade, but a 2-for-2 trade in fact, and they're gonna head back into the B side, and it's open. But Zip has the cross here. The smoke does go down, but there's a small gap. Is he a smoke criminal shooter? Nope. Gets away with it. They get away with their life. Out of jail. Jail free card there. Bomber's gonna go down, but look at Banana. Look how the rotations are coming in at such a rapid pace. So now they have to make a play to the smoke here.
Yeah, and there is a CT waiting on the other side, and Rogue is going to get the better of him. Zip looking away as the support flashbang is coming through, and his position is given out. Both players are stuck towards this back room area, and now Goliath Gaming pressuring on towards that bomb side. Elusive going to get into position. He touches onto that bomb, doesn't commit though. Flexi able to get the frag, and Rogue quickly responds, and they take that round. Very messy stuff, and Sinister5 managed to make it work despite being in unfavored odds with the rotations coming in thick and fast there, but Zip caught unawares and it all falls apart from that point.
And for me, that's sort of how you deal with banana control. You have to get up in their faces. You have to make the CTs feel so uncomfortable, because at that point they didn't know whether to commit to that duel there as a pair or fall back. We saw one player commit, the second player came in just after that trade. He did get a trade, but he got traded back. So again, one of the best ways to attack banana controls, just don't let them settle, don't let them actually feel comfortable. And now Goliath are put into a false buy of their own, but they have banana control once again, but they have limited util. They can't really re-smoke, and this A setup is coming out now. Sinister5 deviates into Malina's name, land a shot, but he loses there with the sewing machine. It's another player broiler. He's the linchpin. He gets the first and gets traded out nonetheless. The facade should be open. The rotations are coming in at such a rapid-paced massacre. Down to 1v1, and he's got the bomb. He's low HP as well. It's got the headshot. Hack him, the clutch master, finishes it off. 5-4. Goliath Gaming with Sinister5 clawing back round by round, keeping it close.
Yeah, getting straight back into this game, and you just see the economy of Goliath Gaming absolutely battered and bruised here. Not going to be able to get much in this round. Probably maybe just a pistol or a flashbang to do something. Or there we go, a grenade coming out there for Massacre. Going to probably just dunk that down middle. But Sinister5 again with a beautiful recovery here in the first half of the second map.
Yeah, the trades are quite on point there in middle, and that's kind of what they need in this game, just to keep it on point, just to make sure, because they're always 3-manning certain areas. So if they lose out on the trades, that's potentially the whole segment of their push gone. A lot of information is gone. So Banana is quite open to them, but little do they know, they're wasting all this util for nothing in this stack in middle. I like to call this the Wall of China. But there's no Mongolians to approach. There's no Mongolians scratching with their swords.
Yeah.
So perhaps they're going to save this going into the next round.
Yeah, not much to save at all, but probably don't want to feed too much. But don't really get any sort of response or anything out of Sin5. Going to gear themselves now to set up for some exits, but I'm pretty sure Sinister5 are going to have a good read on this and just slowly exit and clear out that city spawn area and retreat out back towards that side of the site. So yeah, nothing in this round. Quite a boring one to say the least, but 5-5 here, and Sinister5 have finally leveled this game in this half. So a good response for them here.
Good response indeed. They're gonna bring it back to even playing fields here. And not too sure if Goliath will have the best buy going into the next round. Have the orbs that they want going into the next round. As you can see, a lot of them floating around that 4-3, that 4-5 mark. One player in 5-2, so maybe he can drop an orb, but they're going to be limited in terms of utility. So mounting up a defense can get pretty tricky, taking that into account. But they're going to have to make do what they have, goals.
Yeah, and you can just see the bank of Hack'em specifically just living out a lot of these rounds. Got 10,000 in the bank.
La vida loca.
Yeah, definitely going to have enough cash, but Banana Control is the name of the game here when Goliath Gaming buy into the round, and Sinister5 do respond with a bit of util on their own, but they are trading out quite effectively here. Gotta put down that molly that forces Massacre to go through. It loses more than half of his HP here on the retreat, so definitely favored Sinister5 here for the first time this half in terms of Banana Control. Goliath Gaming set up with the ducking set up here towards middle, so pick goes the way of flexing now towards the B-bomb site. Now they can re-exec tools.
Yeah, that was a small little blunder there coming out of Goliath Gaming. I know Massacre wanted to go through that smoke with the pop flash, but Massacre actually Adaru. Massacre is gonna aggress here. He's gonna say, guys, just stay at A. Nothing doing just yet from Sinister5, and he actually gets towards Sandbag. This is okay if they just don't notice him. If he picks up that first kill, they're not actually going to aggress nonetheless. Just looking at the minimap, but it does force him into a weird situation where it's all down into Massacre. He's sitting on 47 HP. He has to potentially let them go past because trading all of them, getting a spray down, he gets 2, it's fine, but it's still not enough to win the round. And the ARG actually clears Sandbags, so they're not. And Massacre's in a play to that.
Trigger discipline, this is
he has to find more.
He's gonna get 1, he gets 2, he doesn't! He doesn't!
My god, he's not even hit himself with that. Now they have to go for a save. I don't think they can claw back into this round.
I think that was the goal. It was a gamble save. Like, you know, if you lose his life there, they're gonna just get it back into a save.
I almost feel like, again, I would have done Massacre to stay tighter against that Sandbags there to actually allow them to go through the entire choke point, maybe catch the bomber and get behind the other players. But I was watching the minimap when Massacre was actually watching that player to see if they were reacting off his information, and they were. But then again, as soon as the sound cues came in from Speedway, I think he felt like he needed to take that shot, and he tried to win for that spray control. But it's very hard to get that spray control. Very get right-ish. And perhaps later he's going to be looking at that demo and wishing would have got that.
Yeah, it looks like he lined it up perfectly.
He gets 2, they go for it, right?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, if he gets 2 and he's actually got quite a bit of space until the third comes through there, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Massacre just needs to go back and shoot at a couple more thousand bots on his new settings, and then he'll be able to land those trigger discipline type plays, but unable to land it and connect it there, and it puts Goliath Gaming's bank account in a tough position again, and it puts Sinister5 in the lead for the first time here on this half, and again, 6 rounds already on the T side, so looking really good here on the start of the second map of their map pick.
Yeah, like I said, they should be feeling way more comfortable on Inferno than they were in Nuke, so this is okay considering this is their map pick, so they're more than happy with this result considering it is a T-sided map, but Goliath aren't going to let go of control of Banana. They're going to fight for it, actually they're going to fall back. A lot of util, and you can see this 5 terrorists sitting in Banana, and they wanted to throw everything at it. They wanted to make sure they get Banana control, but this regress, this double pop flash came out of them, the second smoke, it's going to do so much harm to them. Massacre gets 1 but gets traded out, then that's a 4v3 in favor of Sinister5, and there is one player still stuck on the site there, but he's sitting with the farmer, so these multicles are going to be quite tough. He's have to land his shots and splashbangs to obscure his vision, that's him down, and retake does seem unlikely, so maybe a save again coming in from Goliath Gaming.
Sinister5 have smelt blood here on the speed bomb side. They've absolutely torn it apart and kind of negated this Banana control in the beginning. Finally started to actually challenge it now towards the end of the half, and now they're just making absolute work here of this B-bomb side, getting into it almost every single round, and Goliath Gaming perhaps need to look at something different here. They did stack it this round, but too little, too late, not enough, and not good enough. And Sinister5 with another round here on their T side, moving in towards 7 rounds to Goliath Gaming's 5.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I wasn't opposed to them regressing Banana in that fashion, but when I just look at the second smoke that was in front of the first smoke there, it just made their lives too tough, considering there's 5 players going towards Banana, and I like the approach out of Sinister5. They're making sure they get Banana control, but what they're opening themselves up to, nice exits there by GG, Elusive and Deviant. Some damage to the economy. Hack'em's sitting on 13k, so they're definitely going to be happy with that result. But you know, back to the point I'm making, I think the only answer to a play like that, Goals, is, you know, if you can see they are overwhelming with utility in Banana, they need to put pressure elsewhere in the map. Maybe a double apps push, something like that. We saw a couple of years ago when we actually tried it. We had players like Shoxy from G2 back then just pushing apps every round, because they knew, I mean, we're not holding Banana control as a T, we're going to throw everything at it, there's going to create a gap somewhere in the T default, and that was it to abuse. But Goliath Gaming,
taking a very passive to banana control. They're not really aggressing it like they used to. They're not feeling that flare like they used to those two pairings. So they're playing it a bit passive. They're going to maybe set themselves up for pop flash. You see the stock standard default coming out of Sinister5. They're going to take mid control. So everything going as planned thus far.
Yeah, switching it up here and putting numbers and gearing themselves towards an A hit here. Goliath Gaming haven't had to deal with something like this for quite a few rounds. Sinister5, a nice little change up of play and try to trade out Diver there, but Deviant gets picked off and Elusive gets picked off as well, and this A site has forfeited itself as well. So Goliath Gaming instantly pushed back, forced to retreat, gonna look at saving for this round again, and Sinister5 taking the lead in this game. Gonna get 8 on the board.
I agree, and it just feels like Goliath are being a bit too timid about their approach. Yeah, they've lost a few rounds that haven't gone their way, but they shouldn't stop their relenting approach toward the CT side. You gotta suffocate them at every choke point. Banana control, you suffocate them, you make the lives difficult. Mid control, you do the exact same, and you make sure you net kills before they actually approach the site like that. And it was quite unfortunate, Diver hitting a sick flick onto Deviant and bulk there. Deviant's gonna feel hard done by that, and that's the thing. When you're not really playing the way you want to, the way you're forced to play isn't going to be the 100% or correct or the most confident way you go about it. So they're going to want to change their approach. And I still think they should go towards banana and, put a lot of pressure, make sure they secure that, get 4 players towards the A side, 1 player holding banana, and potentially what they did in the first force buy like they did, they sent 4 CTs players towards banana on that force buy round to make sure they have it. I think they should redo that approach now on a gun round to make sure, because Sinister5 are just, their lives a lot easier having banana control now. They can do what they want now with banana control.
Agreed, I couldn't agree more, and Goliath Gaming need to come up with some sort of response here. Sinister5 just outmaneuvering them, out-utiling them, just outplaying them here on Inferno, and it's been a while since I've seen them get this sort of pressure put onto them, specifically on the CT side. I mean, you can always fall short on the T side, but you gotta fall back on your bread and butter tools. But then when that's just melting and not working, you need to find something else. You need to have something else, in the strat book per se. And back to this banana control, gonna be met with not much from the side of Sin5. Able to separate the 2 players now. They're gonna regress through the smoke there.
Agreed, and they're gonna face a Massacre with the farmers, and that flash didn't catch Massacre at all. And regarding where Massacre's spotted, where he's playing, whatever flash you throw to the top left, the stand-up banana flash isn't gonna work. So that's why Massacre was standing under that bridge over there, and he's gonna get naded out by Flex again. Perhaps he should have gotten out considering his HP, but maybe he wanted to upgrade to that AK that dropped down, which lends its hand to his death, to be honest.
Yeah, and now gonna put some more util there towards this banana region, and now it's all up to Adaru, who's just jump spotting and risking his life, but able to get that info and move back towards the bottom side chance. Sinister5 need to respond. Still got a wealth of utility here versus Goliath Gaming's pockets being completely empty. Only 1 flash, for Deviant to use in the later round, potential on a retake towards B, and now a fake presence is getting put towards that banana. They fake that control, and it has pulled the rotation off towards this B bomb site, but the hit is going on this A site, and it's beautifully done by Sin5, and now they're only going to have 2 players to deal with on this A bomb site.
Indeed, and the utility starts raining in, and it comes down to how these players bait and switch. The first player gets deleted, zips up, trades it out, gets a double. They're wrapping him from the left. Can he control it? No, it gets taken up by Flexi. Now it's just down to Elusive. How does he play this? Does he go through the defuse? I mean, the bomb plant to make it a 1v1, or he waits for his teammate? Correct call, I'd say.
Elusive.
Textbook Elusive. Passive as possible, and make sure he's making the right decisions. They have no util to go in, so it's about the trading game at the moment. Gonna make sure they're stuck together quite well. Hope takes the first one, now comes down to the second. Divo doing lovely work there, and he's the heavy hitter. You can see 11 kills in the quarter. He's having quite a nice game thus far, so is Flexi. And that's 9 rounds on the board for Sinister5. And, looking at the utility coming out of Goliath, the rounds that they have lost, they haven't really had the best buy. They've had a farmhouse with a flash short, they've had upgraded pistols, etc. They haven't had the perfect buy as a CT team. Like majority of the times, it makes it very hard to mount up a defense. And we can see how Sinister5 are playing with their rotations, faking out with the B smoke going towards A. But enough of that. We see Adaru try to go after that early pick. He's going to take him out, and that's a disaster. That's not what he wanted. And it's down to 1-man Massacre on this B side. Do they progress through this? He feels that good. You can allow us to do this? Divo says no. That's the B side potentially open. There's a young Zip at backstage, but he's mollied off, so can't really stop the bomb pump, but he can stop them from getting into superior positions like family.
No,
but the second molly just hinders that.
Yep, 3v3 retake here. Still quite a bit of util on the side of Sin5 for some pop flashes, for some fancy work, but a lot of this retake's going to depend on whether Deviant can actually have an effect here on this banana side of things, and he does not. This is now putting too much pressure onto the backstage area, and there we go. Pick goes the way of Sin5. Lexi spots the position, Diver with the response, and what a turnaround. Half here for Sin5, just swinging on its head and taking 10 rounds here on the T side, so definitely going to feel very comfortable moving into the second half tools.
Yeah, I mean, I had a banging recovery towards that T side, and it came down to, that first economic break from Goliath Gaming, and they just worked on that, and they played in their conscience in terms of they're not taking banana control. Actually, now they are taking banana control. Let's just go with 5 players and make sure we have it. As a default, that's kind of what I want to see coming from your first gun round. So my approach is sort of show your cards, show everything you have, make sure that you let them know you know how to take banana control properly, and then you can go through a normal default. Whereas the approach Sinister5 took is let's just try to take banana control with 2 players, and it didn't work for a couple of rounds, and then eventually they were like, let's just throw everything at it, and from then that's when Goliath Gaming stopped their approach with banana control, and they'll have a look at that demo and figure out some solutions. But for now, we're going to go into the second half. GG on the terrorist side. Let's just see how they answer, how they bounce back from this. Will Sinister5 close it out and take it to the third map? For me, it's not really down to the pistol round. It's down to that second gun round. That's the important piece for me.
Yeah, and I mean, just to talk about what we referred to in the last map with, these stand-ins and a weaker T side that we kind of, poked some holes through on the first half of on the second half of Nuke, but, what a response here from Sin5, just, completely throwing that out the window and just showing what a brute force they are, and they know how to play this game tactically, and they put on an absolute clinic there of the T side. So let's see if Goliath Gaming have anything in response to that.
Yeah, just to add what you said there, Nuke is a very complex and technical map, so if you don't really have everything, you set IGL to make those important calls at the right time at the right place, it is going to be a bit die. But from a map like this, it's a lot less, complex. It's a bit easier to play even with the stand-in. So the stand-in's actually doing quite a nice work there. He's doing a good job there, not too bad, filling it for 0 chance. But this pistol round is coming out there. Diver taking some shots there, gets deleted by Deviant, trying to pushing apps, gets punished for it. You need more than 1 flash then, especially if Deviant's hitting his shots like he is. So it could work out for you. But now it's down to double dualies, raid boss and banana. Big fan of this. Massacre used to do this, but now it's down to Hack'em. Perhaps it's practice with this gun, but the gamble is a 2-2 setup.
I think Hack'em lives from Massacre, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably. But again, you got a 2-2 defense. It's gonna be kind of tough. I mean, they need to hit their shots. They're not in the range of getting overwhelmed yet, as we can see. Just a 1-on-1 duel here by Deviant up and Boiler. No one there to trade, unfortunately, but the flash does come out, and Hack'em now he's gonna face some trouble. Gets away scot-free with his life. He's going to rotate back into a safer spot, and his team is there to protect, but there's a flash and a smoke, so he's going to have to land some shots.
Yep, spraying with those dualies. He gets tagged quite low. Elusive going to hold the strong angle. Smoke comes in for CT Spawn. The breach is in effect now. Hack'em is able to retreat towards family. Support is coming towards Coffins, but Hack'em is just making absolute work here with the quad kill for Hack'em. He makes the dualies work. I won't lie, I wanted to see it happen, and he does do it with perfection. Able to get out of banana and just tank down, turret down, and do what Hack'em does best, and just spray down with those dualies.
30 bullets goals. Yes, 30 bullets. How can you not miss? Or hit shots like he did. And his movement in that spot was supreme. He's just bobbing, causing a lot of havoc, creating space for his teammate backstage to help him out, buying time, and hitting his shot. So it was kind of perfect there. Now, Goliath Gaming, they got the bomb down, I think. So they're going to go full save to make sure they're going to pop up by going into the next round. And I think their approach is just to bait out some CT util, make sure they expend some sort of money going into the next round, rebuying such and such. But 3 MP7s, that's going to do some damage. You want to let those guns get the kills. Those guns farm the money. Massing is definitely upset with that.
Yeah.
Rogue's pushing up the smoke. Does get punished nonetheless, but no harm, no foul. In fact, he'll just be able to upgrade. And he potentially wanted to throw his life away to upgrade, get a better rifle going in there. So the first gun round of this half is about to come out.
Yep, full investment coming out of Goliath Gaming here. Let's see what do Sin5 do in response. They do keep 2 of their subpar weapons in the form of those MP9s here on the CT side. Full pockets there in terms of util. Goliath Gaming can't say the same. So banana control does seem to be the name of the game here for both sides. But Goliath Gaming gonna take a little bit of time before they take it.
Yeah, this is quite an important gun round. Whatever team wins this round, it's going to force the other team onto a semi-buy or an eco, but we do see the exit coming out, so the smokes are raining in, and the counter yields from the CTs, and this is why it's tough to exit quite early onto this site here, as you have to wait out the dude, so it becomes a meat grinder of knots, and then MP7 reigns supreme, getting boosted there, picking off Elusive and Palace, and now it's counter recovery, and 4 players sitting here, holding every choke point with tradable options, except Divo. I mean Zio, yeah.
And I mean, look at the difference in the way that Sin5 hold this banana area of the map. They leave Hackham just all alone on that bomb site, and they just move the entire squad over anyway. So it doesn't even matter at this point what Goliath Gaming do towards that banana control, because at the end of the day, they just need to bulldoze their way through this A defense regardless. They do manage to get an opening pick, though, does Deviant. They don't really commit to it, though, but it does bring the additional rotation back towards the side of N2. So Goliath Gaming are creating some sort of space here between the rotations of Sin5.
This is kind of tough for Zio if they wrap, because he has MP7. It doesn't really benefit him unless they get closer and the wrap comes in. But, you know, Deviant's a bit too soon there, but Dara picks him off and they have to wait for the smoke. They go through the smoke, it's very tough. Actually, it's not.
Whoa!
Dara's going to just hit a crazy flick on Flexi and trade out. That's a 3k from him, and it's down to 1 man. The guy was holding the B side. The clutch master, we've spoken about him. He has a flash, he has a double dualies, but he's got an M4. He's not going to use those. Smart decision, I'd say, but I mean, they don't want to make it too easy for Hackham. They want to play bait and switch, make his life a living hell.
Yeah, because he doesn't do anything but tappity tap. Nobody talks back, but he's moving into the bomb site now. Goliath Gaming absolutely disciplined. You're not giving him any space to work with, and that's how you choke a player out of this situation. And they're doing it beautifully here. It's going to force Hackham out. He has to retreat. He has no options. They've given him no options, and Goliath Gaming finally respond with the round here, and they bring their tally to 6. They get the first gun round of this half tools.
Yeah, and you know, again, we saw Goliath Gaming got punished when they had those MP7s, and so does Sinister5. So it just seems like both teams are playing a gun round as normal as they would have an M4 than an MP7. They don't have set setups, they don't have a set plan for those low gun buys, those MP9s. So, you know, it does bite them in the ass, as we've seen time and time again. That's 12-6 in the favor of Sinister5. As we can see, Flexi having a good game, and so is Hackham, and so is Divo. But now Goliath Gaming want to claw back into this game, claw back into this half, with those 6 rounds down. So they're going to have to try force Sinister5 onto an actual eco. As you can see, they're force brought into this round. They don't have the full buy, the full utility they'd want. So, I mean, they have to pull a rabbit out of a hat here, or just bank on Goliath making mistakes. But only time will tell. As you can see, both teams are playing the methodical way.
Yeah, and Sinister5 electing to retreat out of that banana. But they set up with a stock standard, pop flash set up towards that B. But Goliath Gaming well up of, aggressed up towards middle now and have got full
Elusive
control. But what a crazy trade of events there. The N1 setup paying off dividends here. Bomb needs to retreat towards banana. It's going to come down to whether they can make that frag. And Massacre makes it happen. And now he's going to try to take position on the bomb site. Does he expect the second player to be here? He does. Smoke off CT, so this gives them a little bit of space to work with, but will they clear out this close angle now? He does. Beautiful shot from Massacre, and he gives them the chance that they need. And now up to Flexi in a 1v2 retake here.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a kit, so it's going to come down to, they're doing the double dark. This is one of my favorite plays. You'll never expect the second player to be in dark. Doris is going to sit here, make Flexi wonder, make him think, make his brain burn as to where the second player is. He's going to pump out all this utility, but he's not going to show. He understands what the setup means. If Flexi have the presence of mind to check this, my brain will break. There we go. The double dark setup does work.
Thank God your brain doesn't need a break, tools.
I mean, if you did check that, I would have been a pretty 2.0 play by Flexi, and that does net Goliath game with the second round, and that's the second time they've come down to a clutch situation where if they had the full buy, the full utility, they had everything in their arsenal, because they had the 7-round lead, so they could have gambled a half buy and got into this round with the proper buy. Now they're just forced to eco this round. It basically forces, Goliath Gaming, or gives them the 8th round, just makes the gap a bit closer.
Yeah, every single round matters, man, and what's most important is the economy of the city side finally put they've put a little bit of pressure on it, so this gives them a little bit of breathing room to work with. Like you say, every round counts, 7, then 8, then 9. Suddenly that distance is not too much to grab, but That being said, Goliath Gaming is going to take contact on towards this B-bomb, so they do get picked off towards middle, and that's going to allow the rotations to move and strengthen that B-bomb side hold, but Goliath Gaming are waiting and looking to make something happen, and Hakim just gets a disgusting shot here, but aggresses through the smoke there, and that gives a pick towards Goliath Gaming now, but they're not acting on it, they're not taking it tools, and suddenly...
there we go, that's the chance. That's the chance to give Sinister5 to get back into this clutch round. Now they actually have to wait out a full 20 seconds. And that's sort of my rule. You wait 20 seconds and then eventually the CTs will regress or they're going to reposition. And that's what you want. But they do have the gun advantage here. They do have... Actually, they don't have smokes to smoke of CT. And they actually boosted a player onto the spot launcher. So
they're going to need
they can trade him out effectively. And also they have a deagle behind it. So it becomes even harder.
Oh, but not when he falls off. But Dive are able to do quite a bit of damage here. Tags the second player, but they have got the bombs up. But he gets another one. Massacre trades him out now. Suddenly, a 1v1 scenario. Again, all up to Flexi. Last time he did come through that banana area. So, could be suspected again as Massacre. But it's all going to come down to this one league here. Can he land it? Flexi on the retake. Massacre peeks, it takes the info shot and lands the headshot as well. 12-8 now. Sinister5 above Goliath Gaming, but... pressure mounting on that economy, and do they buy here tools? Do they invest into this round, or do they go half?
They're gonna definitely invest into this. Diver's already jumped the gun at that. Yeah, and I would have left them to actually, maybe get body armor instead of head armor, as well as Zeo, like the rest have done, just to get out more utility and Flexi. So, I mean, just a small micro mistake out of there could play a big vital role into this or not, as they won't have the full amount of utility they need to mount the defense. And that's a lovely call. Good reaction coming at Goliath right now. Banana control taken, so they immediately push up middle. They're going to take it for free, as there's no one there to actually, put some resistance for them. They're going to smoke up archers, and that's free passageway through this choke point. And, there's a guy in library, but he's not playing no effecting role. But the smoke and this counter smoke do so much work. Rogue, let's come to the body. No one's getting the gracious yet. This is becoming a grueling battle, but 2-for-3 trade. But they do have the sight, and they are able to get into post-bomb positions due to the utility being up.
Yeah, but a lot of pressure is going to get put onto them very shortly. It's going to come out to can land a shot. He does. He gets a little bit tagged up though, but even starts. 2v2 scenario. Got to make that rotation towards Palace. Stevie trying to spam through the smoke. He does quite a bit of damage now. Zip with that flash. Hakim should have an idea of where the player's coming from. He does spot towards Boiler. He's going to go for the peak, but Zip is gambling. He doesn't think he's going to stick it, and it's the right call. Zip is making a masterclass. He hears those footsteps, so he's going to be able to re-aggress. Hakim's still wary of that apartment area, and he's forced to save. Hakim is forced to save. Zip with an absolute beautiful round here. Clutches it out with nothing but hiding around the corner, and Zip is going to be really happy with that one. Another big impactful round for the man here on Inferno, and 12-9 now to the side of Sinister5, and no real economy to work with. As we said, they did invest into that round. Diver made that decision for his team, but
yeah, I mean, that was a very important clutch coming out of Zip their goals. I mean, he did the same on Nuke and that B-bomb side with the super fantastic flick, and he's done the same here to keep them in contention, to keep them in the runnings, because if they lost that round, they would have been in an eco. And right now, they're forcing us to 5 on an eco. And I did say it comes down to that second gun round, actually the third gun round, and that plays a big part. This actually gives them more time to close out this gap, to put more pressure on Sinister5, and you can see some small cracks coming out of them. And I did say it's from that small buy. They would have had a bit more util to actually hold a lovely pop flash coming out as Hakim to help Zeo get that first pick, and he gets out scot-free after that with 6 HP, mind you, but it's a lovely initial pick, and maybe going to throw this gun away. But Dory actually didn't have a gun, so this is okay. This is okay. And they can still head towards this B site and still exec, but Hakim has an AK and a smoke in hand, so if they run into this, it's going to be quite tough.
Yeah, and they've got a wealth of control here towards this middle area. Only one player is moving in that area for Goliath Gaming, which is TNT. He's going to spot a player, gets the frag, and now they should swarm him. They should try and get that AK-47. He pulls out a smoke and gets caught out, and now this forces Goliath Sam. They need to hit that bomb site. They need to hit towards that B-bomb site, and Hakim is just waiting on the other side. Going to get smoked out. They have managed to catch or get the jig up on him, and now they get the bomb down. 3v3 scenario here, tools.
Indeed, and there we go. 3v2, 2v2. Diver evens it out. These both players have body armor on them. Only thing is that a gun disadvantage on this P250 won't work long range versus that SIG. Now it's just down to one man, Diver. He's been hitting his shots, but Adoro has been hitting shots too. As he, puts the nail in the coffin there for Goliath Gaming. That's 10 rounds on the board.
Yeah.
Sinister5 able to bounce back with the buy goals.
They are. They do get. This is the round they need to win. If they don't win this round, it's gonna kind of invite Goliath game back into it. If they're not back into it already, but this is their first full confident buy. You can see that AWP, you can see that full pocket of utility. The only real sacrificial lamb is Rogue, who has elected to go on with head armor instead of getting a smoke or a flash. But I mean, little in it, Goliath getting not in full pockets either. So banana control gonna be a dirty trade, but definitely favoring Sin5. Just look at the amount of damage that it got done there through the Goliath gaming breach, and you can just see they've retreated with the tail in between their legs and gonna set up to try and gain some map control towards that A bomb site instead.
I'm okay with this trade. I mean, he loses a lot of his utility, but he baits on a lot from the CTs and forces them back onto this B site. So I think the utility 2 damage trade is in favor of Goliath Gaming. I'm happy with this, but it comes what they do with it next. And, you know, Elusive picking up an Flexi there by Ducky. That SIG is doing so much work, and I'll keep saying, if you want to become a better player, use that SIG. It's a competitive advantage. All you have to do is learn how to use the spray pattern.
But look at this clearance coming out of Rogue here. He's going to definitely catch 1 or 2 Goliath gaming players out. But there comes the SIG again. Elusive just crawling through the underpass. And Rogue clears all out. All that information Goliath gaming need to store. They need to stop. They need to make the CT start their position. Because Sinister5 were convinced, and rightly so convinced, that Goliath gaming were going to be hitting that B bomb site, which they are going to do. And look at this push and pull effect.
Oh man, they second guess themselves, and perhaps I think they're gambling it. This is a set call. They say if they go B, if they go A, they potentially win the round, considering their low HP. So, I mean, if they had more information to work with, perhaps they gamble towards the B side. As we saw, that's what they did initially. But that's going to be 11 rounds on the board for Sinister5. But they'll be able to buy next round due to these 3 saves.
Yeah, I think Goliath Gaming going to take this round, so it'll be 12 to 11 to Sin5. But, yeah, as you say, I think a set call is the call. You know, going to save these weapons, and the loss bonus is built up, but again, that CT side economy is a little bit more expensive to maintain. But with that being said, Goliath Gaming not going to be getting over aggressive, not going to be looking for too much. Their bank is not sitting too pretty if you look at it. So at the end of the day, playing it disciplined, playing it clean, and 5 players survive this buy round tools.
Indeed. As you know, we are heading towards the latter end of this game, so the pressure is mounting on both teams, and this is the second map, Sinister5. They dropped to Goliath on Nuke, and this is their map pick, and right now it's not looking too pretty as the comeback is real. Will they be able to, you know, plug the holes into the leaking ship? Or will it sink? Only time will tell. As we know, both teams have a good buy, so this is a good buy for both teams. They have everything they want. They have the 5 kits. Not a big fan of 5 kits, big fan of 3 kits, but they have all the utility they need, all the guns they need to mount up a strong defense, to bounce back, to net that 13th round.
Yep, and let's see what the game is. Is Zip going to maintain that util, but Sinister5 not responding at all towards Banana, just keeping to their defensive setup while they kind of aggress down towards that middle area. Flexi had an aggressive peak or position, but a walk apps is the call from Goliath Gaming here. Going to come with 1-2 flash, double flash coming through from the middle area. Guard, and they'll jump. But Divo is making great work here, and now all that's left is Rogue. Rogue getting ahead of the smoke. No, waits for. Yeah, probably a good call, but Zip punishes it. A little bit of indecision. No time to work with it. Get punished.
I mean, if he wanted to commit, he had to commit. If he wanted to go back, he had to go back. But he gets caught between a rock and a hard place. But, you know, the retake is still on. They have a lot of utility, a lot of mollies, smokes, flashes to make it very easy for them to get into the site. But they have a re-smoke for Moto, and they have 2 flashes to work with. Actually, they smoke in 1. I'm not a big fan of the smoke. As you know, from the left-hand side, you can jump into this bike information or onto the hay bags. But maybe they got crossfires, and now there is the flash coming in. They're going to clear the side. They're going to kill 1. Now it's come down to the pit player. He's down at low HP. They have smoked it up, but Zio does wonderful. And can they find the bomb? Where's the bomb? It's there. You got it. Defuse comes in, and that's going to be 13 rounds for Sinister5 on the board. And that's what you want to see out of Sinister5. You know, a good, strong bounce back. The bulk burst almost caused them a lot of damage, caused them the round, but Divo recovered so well though with that 2K. I mean, it was the garden hose there holding that mouse 1 down. He had to bounce back between trading the guy, jumping out, maybe kill the guy on the handbags, and he got both actually. So they worked out quite nice from him. And then Rogue's indecision, they costed him his life, but the retake 2v2 was supreme of those 2 players. Was supreme.
Yeah, they just stuck together, stuck to the call, got away from the danger areas, and they made it work for them. And This puts a lot of pressure onto this round for Goliath Gaming. If they lose this, they got nothing in the bank to work with, and very little rounds or mistakes left to make for them. But Sinister5 again just extremely passive. 2-3 setup here across both sides, so nothing changing, no over-aggression, nothing over-aggressive coming out. And Goliath Gaming getting that mid control, making that presence quite known. But Sinister5 not really going to respond, maintaining that ditch in 1 and in 2 setup.
Yeah, see, this is quite dangerous considering they've given up mid control and given up banana control, so they're actually relying on both their sides to hold strong if a hit does come in, and we can see it's potentially a wrap coming in, looking at where the bomb is placed and where these 3 players are sitting in middle. So it's going to come down to actually Flexi sitting in archers. Is he able to actually use his mechanics, navigate himself to actually get in their faces, make sure it's hard for them to actually get into CT spawn, maybe get a pick or two to come onto that. But the smoke is going to hold him off quite a bit. Maybe the smoke is going to force Flexi into the actual A site. As we can see, just a fake towards the B side is coming in, and there we go. Job's done. That gives him space towards archers to go right through and make... Man, this is tough. Oh, they're not going to wrap? They are going to wrap. I guess he was just doing wide to check. But they have no information now. Zipson actually gets an A player, so that maybe he forces a rotation off B, but they can't rotate. As the hits coming in from 2 points of view, from CT spawn and from Banana. It comes down to hitting their shots.
Yeah, it comes down to the shots. The Zero is going to get forced out of the area, but he gets a double frag. So great stuff from him despite botching the flashbang, but trades all round, and it's all up to Massacre. 1v1 versus Rogue, whose rotation is coming through from the CT side. So now should know that he hasn't crossed yet. So now Rogue, is he going to be able to clear his angles and get the bit of Mass? Mass, can he clutch this out for his team to keep Goliath Gaming in it? Remains to be seen. Yeah, he's ringing around the roses of the game, but Rogue gets the read on it and he clutches out the round. Reads Massacre perfectly by the book. Probably seen it before, but Sinister5, 14, and they move closer and closer to that match point tools. And Goliath Gaming's back and bank is struggling.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, they had to hit their shots, and then Zio came out big with that 2K there from Family. He got mollied off. He had to move while in transit towards Dark. Nets 2 headshots. And then Hakim still survives there by Family. I mean, where were the kills actually on the B side? Because all the kills were on the A side. They actually killed 2 rotators, to be honest, before that you got any of the B players. And time wasn't on their side, so that was a tough one there. But, you know, Sinister5 hold on strong there with 14 rounds. And that round is so important. If you have a look at both economies, Sinister5 and Goliath. If Sinister5 lost that, they would have definitely had to eco. So, big ups to them, big ups to Zio, in fact. And
yeah, I mean, being in such a tough position, duffing the flash, and you still come up with 2 big, quick step frags. Very impressive stuff from the man himself, and pulling out big stops here on Inferno. But Goliath Gaming now kind of responding well to this very, very defensive and passive setup from Sinister5, keeping all 5 players together. As it doesn't seem to have been their benefit otherwise, but now Massacre going to have a presence, going to pull a flash there towards that B-bomb site. But again, this passive setup from Sinister5 is not going to lend itself to making those over rotations. It might, though, in the form of Diver, who's going to get positioned into this cubby, so going to get cleared.
See, that's just the issue sometimes when you play in isolation and then you lock yourself into the spot. So when you repeat just like that, you get taken down and there's no one else to trade. But now these 2 players on the A side have done well, considering, you know, they do have some sort of utility. There's the counter use, the counter flashes, buying some time for the rotation to come in, but they're getting wrapped. They're getting wrapped battle goals. Flexi picks up a kill. It's just down to Massacre.
But he got the AK. He gets another one with the AK. You didn't actually see it, but it went through the body there, and it makes it a 2v2 situation. What looked like a disaster is now a very, very doable situation. Hakim spots the player moving towards Splits. He quickly moves onto the side, unable to find anyone though. Now it's up to Zip. He gets the first frag. He should be aware that Hakim on the side. Jumps on the box, takes the higher ground, does a Dara, and closes out the round and gets back in it for Goliath Gaming. 14-12 now, Tools.
14-12 indeed, and this game is tight, is getting closer and closer. Both teams not willing to let up the chain, not let up the rounds, and tooth and nail. Now this does force Sinister5 to save, and you know, finally they bend the knee to the game of forces. You know, wanting to fight another day when they get to 13 rounds, and even rounds like this are kind of dangerous. You know, looking at how the pop flash and the banana work the previous rounds, how the deagle shots are hitting, and it comes down to, you know, how much, you know, damage they're able to chip off early round in terms of these grenades, and then finish them off with those P250s. But Goliath Gaming are wise at Turret. They don't want to give away any inches, any margins this yet. Just simple, methodical map control.
Madaro taking their head off there of Rogue, but a lot of players still waiting now, and they're going to get a peek, but multiple frags just falling all over the map. It's going to force Hack'em to push down middle, but Goliath Gaming's default is set up for a better, but it's going to force Flexi to make a move, and Massacre puts him down as well, so another round in response to Sinister5. Strong showing here on the CT side, but Goliath Gaming clawing back and fighting back and displaying quite a clinic here on the T side as well, Tools.
Indeed, quite a clinic, and this comeback is well warranted, considering they do have that sort of composure in the form of Elusive, making those decisions, you know, Massacre putting those kills on the board, and again, not the healthiest buy coming out of Sinister5 in terms of utility, but they do have the guns to get those shots, and again, I'm a big fan of sacrificing head armor for utility. Flexi picks up a kill second middle. Did he push apps, actually? Pretty sure he did. And that was actually a young Deviant. He was the guy spamming the apps, and they picked him off and bridged there, but no one's else to rebut. This bulk pop should come at any moment now, and Divo, he has to hold nice one, he gets flashed, let's play through, but he does get seen, he doesn't pick up the first play, gets traded up by Elusive, but there's no one on the side. That's what's so pivotal and strong about this bulk burst.
Now,
now he has to get out of there. If he stays, he might get traded out, and there we go. That's a warning sign, that's a little tickle, just to make sure, you know, they're watching it, eyes are on you.
Oh,
this
an
pick getting given to... Yeah, I guess you assumed that smoke would be perfect.
Zeo, patience there, just forces Zip to come and support his teammates, and ultimately shuts down, and Adara's left in a very, very tough position there at the back of the bomb site, and Sin5 bring us to match point here, and almost crushed the hopes here of Goliath Gaming. I mean, if you look at their bank, not much in it, Tools. What can they do with this round? What would you do in this situation?
You just have a look at the spawns. Make a call.
Rush B.
I'm not even kidding. I think they haven't really played fast at all. Maybe gets a few Mac 10s. Make sure they're taking point in this banana rush. We saw Deviant. He does have the spawn, and the util is there. Perhaps they just smoke off the early Molotovs, the CTs throw, get the chain flashes going over, keep them consistently blind, and just get in their faces goals. As you can see, they are heading up banana, but this passive setup, this is actually the counter to a banana rush. As you can see, the counter util coming out, but that's going to bait out early util from the CTs and make it a bit easier for the terrorists to go in a bit late if they do choose to do that. But there we go, Flexi's posting down middle. He has full information, full control, so they can, as you can see, two players leading towards archers there with a quick rotation. The flash and the head does come in, and Zeo gets the first kill. They rapid actually CT spawn, and these mollies are making it so hard for Zeo to move around, and Deviant catches a player as he pushes through the smoke. He gets backstage control. There's just one player left in the middle of sight. Massacre push that smoke inside. But Flexi trades him out, and Deviant dead at the party. Banana rush. It wasn't banana rush per se, but it was a banana rush.
It was what they call the rush, slow rush. You know, it's like we're not rushing, but we're gonna rush soon. But I think a critical talking point of that round is Deviant manages to push through a smoke, cuts off that rotation, moves towards coffins, but eventually opens up the side there. Massacre actually pushes through the smoke as well, gets to the tree, and when Deviant makes a presence on the other side, they don't expect another player there, and he gets another frag. So Massacre and Deviant buying huge amounts of space. Nice change of pace, but jumping back into this round now. Sinister5 not looking good with their buy, and it's looking like definitely if Goliath Gaming can hold on to their composure, yeah, which they've started off doing quite well, spread out nice and evenly. It's a lot of pressure on Sin5 to win this round.
Yeah, now this shotgun from Zeo playing close walls. They're going to push him off towards sandbags. He's going to get quite close there. It's going to be very hard to deal with him, considering it's a one and done gun. It's basically an AWP close range, and there's a support player sitting behind. This pop flash is going to get set up by Hack'em, and they react based off reaction or a sound cue. So he's going to hold it and make the call. A few shots there. Perhaps they're trying to bait out this pop flash, which they do.
Little jump.
They actually baited it out, and now they've made this defense a whole lot harder for them, but mid control has been taken simultaneously, and there's an onion ump. Again, Divo's isolated, so there's no potential trade coming in if he does go down. So he doesn't really want to overextend goals.
Yeah, and you can just see Mass holding down this side of banana control here, just really, really passively and waiting for some sort of aggression, but finally gets spotted out, and Massacre is in the corner, and they're not expecting this. They are aware that the player is close, and they spot him, they clear him out, and now all is said and done. Goliath Gaming will be taking this B-bomb site, and it's going to need a miracle here from Sin5 to retake it, Tools, with this weaponry specifically.
There's no kit, there's only one flash, so for me, let's just see where the flashbang is coming in. Rogue is going to come in with that flashbang, and yeah, they have to wait for the smokes to clear. Not only that, see Flexi's about to get destroyed by Deviant, and it's down to a 2v5, and this is pretty much overtime for me. This is all she wrote goals.
There we go. The spray down comes in from Elusive and Zip, and that's overtime. And this is, again, a grueling battle. And I did say this map pool does favor Goliath Gaming, so I always knew Sinister5 would struggle coming into Inferno, but they've put up a good fight, and they're going to actually have some rounds to sample to see where they can improve. And I think where they can just start off is, if they are starting on the CT side, is, deny banana control and make sure the rotation's on point. Don't leave any gaps, any windows of opportunity for them to capitalize on.
Yeah, indeed, Tools. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think if I had to choose the side of what this favors, I would definitely say it kind of, both these teams very, very capable, but it favors Goliath Gaming just in the sense that they've, Sinister5 had a banger first half. They came out swinging, putting 10 rounds on the board there. So for that to get, pushed back into their face and now, Goliath responding with 10 rounds of their own kind of puts a little bit of pressure on them. But with that being said, match time is, it's imminent. It's 15-15 now. Everything is coming down to these rounds. It's overtime. Players are given 16k, so can buy every single round. So you already see that the double AWP setup is coming out from Sin5. I'm not sure if we saw that throughout the whole the stages of this game on their CT harp. Goliath Gaming, no AWP of their own, only a SIG in the hands of Elusive, which is the rifle that he just tends to favor across the board. So interesting stuff there. Let's see if these AWPs and their positions come into play here.
Yeah, they put one AWP towards, they're doing the fallen boost towards the B bomb side.
One AWP towards the A bomb side. Potentially they'll be looking towards these AWPs to open the round up for them.
Yep. And Goliath Gaming electing to just go up towards middle. And Sinister5 do have majority of their players backs up here towards the A bomb site.
Indeed, and they have forced off the plays in terms of A, but then again Rogue is going to re-aggress or just lean towards the B side. He's again mixed between decisions and he is isolated, so he doesn't want to overextend too much. He wants to sit at an angle where he's able to net one kill and fall back, but Flexi again regresses with that AWP, and Rogue gets the kill of his own, and that's the passive angle I'm talking about in this mod. He wants to actually stop him from rotating in, but it's gone by now. And now it's a 5v3. To recover this is pretty impossible, especially when Flex is regressing with that AWP through a smoke and he's putting Massacre down to 15 HP. Oh man, it's just so tough to recover goals.
Yeah, just picture perfect timing coming out of Sinister5 there and just cutting this breach in half. And I was going to start off by saying that Massacre ends up just keeping both of his players on the B side. Just a simple flashbang, but get back into action. Adaro opens things up here, and this will allow him with something to work with. He gets another pick there. Massacre with one of his own. They're cleaning out the side. Zip gets the better of the AWP, but pulls out the molly to try and push him off. Zio just whips out that 5-7 there to resolve that situation, and now going to start this retake from the library position as his teammate in Hakim creeps closer and closer here towards the pit. Player has been spotted. Adaro with another frag here in this round, and Massacre spots out a player. What a recovery. He said it required a miracle, and a miracle indeed. Adaro with those opening frags, and wow.
For me, that's tough. I've seen a lot of that happen where all you have to do as the terrorist is just sit and wait for mistakes coming out of Sinister5. And I mean, the first mistake there was, Dara picking up that play in sight. He had that gun and just trained up and posted, and I guess the CTs needed information as to where the T's were, so that was the first fall. And Dara getting the second, and then the high ground down there by Mash to actually get onto the foul pots there to catch them an off angle. That was the perfect way, the perfect recovery, and they couldn't ask for anything better. In Sinister5's sense, they're going to want to just maybe nip those mistakes in the bud. They were able to recover quite nicely, sort of mid-round there. As they did lose control of middle. Diver, or rather I say, Rogue was isolated there by Archers, and it was looking pretty dire there, sort of mid-round, but towards the end, it looked good for Sinister5, but Goliath just, snatched it out of his hands. But we do see another buy, another double AWP coming out of him. That's expensive, but they do have 16k, which is okay. Daru is the main AWP, so he's going to pick up an AWP of his own. Zio taking a lot of damage, trying to get some information, get a free shot there, trying to get a timing shot there with the good spawn, but Goliath well aware to it.
Yep, and this allows them with a little bit of space to work with, but gonna start gearing up for this mid control. Pop flash through the smoke does seem to be the name of the game. Double boiler flash coming out, and this close middle setup should get picks and traded out, and that does it. Diver with 2 frags, he makes it an even trade, does favor the T's as they look to breach the site, but the bomb is down towards that second mid area, so can Goliath make something out of this? Massacre putting himself in quite a crazy position here, moving through the smoke in towards city spawn, so a lot of this round is going to bank off of the back of him, and then this is going to come down to timing there towards CT.
Dude.
CO doesn't spot or clear anything now. Massacre's behind enemy lines, he's going to rotate back, and he should spot the AWP. He does, and he gets the frag. It looked like it was a bit shaky, but opens up that rotation. They both know now that there is only one player on the site, and he gets spotted towards Pit. Massacre takes the duel with open arms and gets the frag onto Flexi. So now Goliath Gaming have the A-bomb site. Bomb is going down, and literally a ton of work for Hack'em to do here on this retake. But if anyone can do it, it's him.
A great Massacre did so well there, holding up play. I mean, I guess that's his role. Get behind enemy lines and make it tough for them. So the one that couldn't rotate due to Massacre's positioning.
CSGO, man.
And then the second part is, I think the whole play was based off him. He was waiting for a pick, waiting for information. So it was lovely patience done by the rest of the players just to wait, hold off angles, just to make sure, you know, they don't get caught off by a regress from apps or middle, etc. like that. So that's 2 terrorist rounds going in favor of Goliath Gaming on the T side. So it doesn't really favor or, you know, go according to what the map actually wants. It goes towards what the team wants. But that's another double AWP, so a lot of money. A lot of money on the board. Like 16k.
Yeah,
it pays off eventually. Rogue picking up the first kick there on Deviant, and this counter-nade is going to do so much damage to Zipzip, putting him to 69 HP. Elusive comes with the trade on Diver, but now based out the bulk shot. Now they're aware that there's 2 players on the site, and potentially there's 2 players towards the B side, if not a quick rotate. Elusive, he's so aware of these angles. He thinks probably, potentially, maybe get another one. Rogue trades it off, and it's down to a 2v3. I mean, there wasn't really anyone there to trade off Elusive, so
that's took a bounce for the worst.
Uneven ground goals, uneven ground.
Can't be throwing straight smokes on uneven ground tools, but Zio doesn't need any smokes or uneven ground. He just takes the frag, takes the duel of Adaro, and it looks like Sinister5 are going to respond, so pretty much keeping the ratio exactly the way it was throughout this entire game. I mean, we saw a 10-5 scoreline, so 66% of the rounds going the way of the T side, and again here, Goliath Gaming opening up with 2 rounds versus the side of Sinister5 CT, you know, that 1 round that they've got, so pretty much the stock standard stuff. They Massacre. Oh, what the little backhand.
Did he want a knife? I'm not too sure if Massacre wanted a knife there, as I think he had his knife out or anything, but it's still a lot of work to do, 25 seconds on the board goals.
Yeah, but what a way to start out the clutch, at least. You know, jumping on your opponent's head is always a good plan. Going to get aggressive, not much time to work with, but eventually has to make a move and gets found out. Sin5 responded to the round, and now Goliath Gaming 17 to Sinister5 16. It's as close as it can get your tools as we move to the second half of overtime here.
Agreed and agreed, but for me, it just comes down to how Sinister5 mounts up this terrorist half here. They have everything they're going to want, everything they're going to wish for in terms of full buy. So it comes down to how they use it. Do they stick to that approach where they just completely deny banana control by overwhelming them with utility and numbers? Or do they give it up towards Goliath Gaming and play it nice and slow like they have been doing a few of their rounds? So quite interested to see how the outcome is between these 2 teams goes, but man, what a tough battle, what a grueling battle. It's very messy at some parts, but a lot of, you know, moments of brilliance coming out of both players, both teams with both players. As you can see, actually, scoreboard has been reset, so that's a tough one to do quick math. And so he's got the highest kills, he's got the lowest kills, he's got the most flash assists, and who doesn't? But that doesn't really matter, goals.
It doesn't. We all are clean sheets here, 0 frags for everybody as we move to the second half of overtime here, and this is where you need your star players to shine. But 2 rounds on the T side for GG, but Sin5 showed a strong terrorist side here for the most part of this game, so expecting quite a bash here, but banana control strongly contested here from both sides. A lot of util used in both areas. Finally the molly to push that re-aggressing CT pressure back to where it came from, and now things reset.
There we go. I thought as much. They agree with me. I think banana control is too important to let go, so they did throw the numbers, they did throw the utility towards banana control, and they successfully netted that, and also wasted a lot of util from Goliath Gaming. So
I mean, they have 4 players here, so I think they will go towards the B side, but they really have to put presence towards the A side. They really have to put some pressure, have some sort of resistance before ending up there.
Agreed, and you can see Rogue is going to start looking for some sort of opening here, but Goliath Gaming are going to re-aggress towards that middle area, so they have a wealth of information here towards both sides, and they get a pick towards middle, and 45 seconds on the clock. Tools Rogue got a lot of work to do here in this lurk role.
That's a good call, as we can see already. Number 5 on the radar rotating towards that B side. So, I mean, this exec is going to be very tough, but there are in spots where they can get isolated, Goliath Gaming. This flash by Massacre is going to be a bit too late, or Radaru is going to go through and get punished, but Massacre gets the trade, but Hakim, trades it back. I mean, we got to kill in the middle, so it is a 3v2 goal, so the post spawn should be set up now, but the 17 seconds on the clock, will they allow them to actually get the bomb down or put pressure? The spam does come in, but it's at an off angle there, so post plants are activated. Flexi is going to push through the smoke here. Catches elusive off guard, and that's kind of the play you need to make as a man disadvantage. Now it's down to a 2v2. Zip has the AWP by CT spawn, and we have a player coming through Banana. The form of Deviant, creeping and crawling, waiting for someone to present himself, and that's Flexi. The jig's up, and they're where both players are.
Yeah, Zip gets the better of Flexi as he spams through the smoke, and Deviant gets the frag of his own. It looked like a dire situation there for Goliath Gaming, but well recovered, and Flexi spams through the box. If he had shot 1 more bullet or 2 more bullets, I think Zip was down and out for the count, and they would have netted that round. After that push to the smoke, I thought all was done there, but Goliath Gaming respond and take the round now. 18 on the board for them. They take the first round of the second half of the first overtime. I don't know how I got that right.
Yeah, but you did get it right nonetheless, and the B defense is a bit shaky, as we saw there. Both players dropped, not even going for 1-for-1 trade, going for a 2-for-1 trade in Sinister5's favor. But there we go, Banana Control comes out once again from Sinister5, and aware of this player in the smoke. He makes all his bullets while sitting in a Molotov. And again, I did say this B bomb side is shaky, but not only is it shaky, it falls, and now it's just down to Zip to recover. And these smokes are going to block him out. They're going to cut off information. He can't even go backstage because it's a Smolly, and he's getting spammed. It's so bad. A save? No, it's overtime. He can't.
Yep, got to go for it. All that cash in the bank, but again, that unwilted Banana aggression and Banana Control there just being too aggressive. I mean, the flashes and the nades and the mollies were on point there, but I mean, at some point you've got to get out and retreat. Now pushes out Hakim there with the molly, does Deviant, but they're getting traded out, and now it's all up to Elusive in a 1v3 situation. He's won them before, but not today, says Rogue as he takes his life. And now 18-17, and Sin5 need 1 more round to take us into another half of overtime, and we know strangers to overtime, Tools. We ready?
No strange to overtime indeed. We've seen many overtimes in our lives, in our career, in our destiny. But the tac pause comes out, or just a normal pause. I'm not too sure how tac pause are called. Do you type .tac, do you type .tech? But just want to discuss this Banana Control. So for me, I think it's established that Sinister5 aren't going to give up Banana Control. Right, so for me, maybe send 3 players towards there and make sure you get Banana Control. And if Sinister5 are going to keep fighting like they do, they lose a player, they lose a lot of HP, or they lose Banana in general. So perhaps Goliath are going to, readjust towards that. But the other side of the coin, Sinister5 might just, react and go up middle quite fast. And there's only 2 players to defend such a big site like A. There's so many entry points. You can wrap, you can go through the baller, you can go through app, so it's kind of tough to make the correct decision. But I have seen teams just do Banana Control. I have seen Goliath do Banana Control with 2 players and make sure they get it successfully, even with 5 players. So for me, I think it just comes down to what approach they take. They don't have the best spawns to try beat that first player there with that front wall shot. So it's going to be tough. I thought Zip was going to head towards Banana with that AVP. But there we go. 3 players heading towards Banana to make sure they take Banana Control. But Sinister5 won't fight this. They understand that the reaction, that an adjustment has to come out. So they readjust themselves. So lovely work, lovely calling coming out of the IGL from their side.
Definitely. I mean, they called it to perfection there based on what you said. I mean, if I had to ask you what the counter to what your suggestion was, it would have been this. And they've done exactly that. They've just starved, they've starved the CT utility quite a bit here, forced them to use a bulk of it here towards that Banana area where none of their players are actually sitting, but Zip re-aggresses in N1 to clear out the middle area and gets a pick for his troubles. Massacre gets an aid as they establish that Banana Control, and now another one for Zip. So all is falling apart here for Sin5. 2v5 scenario here, and Goliath Gaming are on the cusp of becoming your ESEA champions, but Still a little bit of work to do here.
They're in the spawn of CTs. They're where the CTs began the round. Where the CTs begin to buy. And they're actually doing a good job of it. The pick up 2 players and Diver hitting phenomenal shots in this. This nade is so big. There's so much damage. Doesn't get any kills just yet, but make sure it's just hard for them to actually... the 5th player needs to come in. I mean, the rotator needs to come in. They're going to burn. The headshot comes in for Diver. That's 3 insane shots. And this post-puncher, the call should come out that one is
and
great.
No
ways, Diver.
Diver with the ace.
And this pop flash here is going to come up, but doesn't really... I don't believe what's about to happen. Flexi takes him out, and that's a full game.
What a
recovery! What a recovery! What an 18-18 scoreline. What a game. What an overtime. Diver, you absolute champ.
Call me dumb, call me biased, call me whatever you want, but I ate my words there. I mean, 5v2 scenario, pushing through smokes and Sinister5, or Divo specifically, makes it look easy and gets the splat there. I mean, it felt, after those initial picks, it felt like it was 5v2, and I think Elusive was on 2 HP, 1 HP, so, you know, 4.5 versus 2, but with that said, I mean, so much work to do there. It felt like Goliath Gaming potentially celebrates a little bit too early, and ultimately, you know, they claw their way back into that round, and just once they lose the first place, second place, suddenly the 3 that are remaining are all so hyper defensive and so scared of making that follow-on mistake, and ultimately just cost them altogether. But now, back into the second overtime we go.
And rounds for sure gonna haunt Goliath Gaming for quite some time. They're probably still speaking about it right now. How did we lose that 5v2? How did we do it? And Divo, that's how. The man, the myth, the legend, hit some phenomenal shots, but it is down to the next overtime, so everything is back into even playing fields, and as you can see, banana control coming out of Goliath Gaming with 3 plays, and not too sure where he roasted a player. He actually roasted Flexi in middle. Did he even have the AWP? Yeah, he went for the AWP shot in middle to the right-hand side, and that's what that Molly's for, is to make it very hard for the T's to play around that area while they're taking banana control. So just take that note and put in your strat book, but banana control is about to be taken. Both players are coming or sitting behind sandbags. That's the Molly, the right time with the right place. And here's this banana control. Double nade is going to come out into long. And it does so much damage. And Adara picks up a kill. Gets traded up by Divo. It's a lucky shot, having a good game thus far. And they're going to have to go to the smoke here. If they spam any longer.
Yeah.
Massacre thought he was going to hit some headshots there. It's very hard to come out that smoke. This Molly is going to come down by... Oh, that smoke actually makes it very hard for that Molly to land in the right place, but at least he's able to get backstage, make this plant a lot harder. Can he spam him? There's a spam spot for this, but he misses all the bullets and he gets taken out by a crouching Zero. And that's down to a 3v2, in fact. Zips up and Deviant once again. They found themselves in these spots quite a lot of times, and they've won a lot and they've lost a lot. So it comes down to how they're going to recover this, but they have no utility in hand. So they're going to have to just hit their shots and communicate and get the synergy on point.
Yep, Deviant with the first frag. He's got some sort of idea that there is a player towards that banana area, but doesn't matter. Rogue gonna clear it out from that Coffin's area, and again, that aggression from Goliath Gaming, despite getting pushed back, getting tagged, you know, just absolute arrogance in that banana area, and ultimately getting punished for it. You know, Sin5 with numbers able to burst through that smoke and pull the aim off the remaining banana player and make it look easy, get that B bomb site, and we all know how difficult that B bomb site is to retake. But with that being said, back in the action here, Sin5 take the first of overtime.
Yeah, bomb site B is one of the hardest sites to retake in the game, so I mean, you can understand why they're putting 3 players towards banana. You can understand why it's the focus point of this game, and that's sort of in a sense decided the outcome of the round. The team who wins banana is a team who majority of the time wins it. And then we got another banana control coming out from this team of Sinister5. The Molly does land Zip, so picks up a kill, so perhaps they want to actually pull out a banana. That's 2 kills going in their favor. Grenade and get out of there, that's the call for me at the moment. I mean, they have a 2-man advantage, and this is the only way Sinister5 get back into this half. And it's by netting some kills, and Daru relentless with that aggression, keeps shooting, keeps...
You bash your head against the wall enough times, eventually you will break through the wall, and it seems it seems like that's what's happening here. And
wow, I'm actually impressed.
Clearing up.
Keep going.
Yeah, no, right through the wall, Tools. That's how it works.
Agreed. And that's 19-19. Scores are equal across both teams, and Divo sitting in 37 kills. Only one
in contesting with that is Massacre sitting on 39. He's on for the filthy 40. He's keen for that filthy 40. He got one earlier today in the FPL, and he's looking to replicate that now. But Divo, he's putting in a crazy performance on himself. He's got a 4K. He single-handedly kept Sinister5 in contention for this final. And this is a final.
It is a final indeed, and a lot of pressure mounting here. And again, we just see Goliath Gaming just focusing on this banana control and this tricky tradie war of brutals here. And they're doing lots of damage. But again, I mean, this can be expected. Sin5 have met them every single time. Yeah, another huge nade connects with the Daro, and finally the banana control is pushed back. But
it's pushed back indeed, and that's a lovely nade coming in. Oh my god, Hakim is destroying Massacre with that jump shot. Oh my god, Hakim's a point. Massacre's gonna be sad about that. And the usual way you go about that jump spot is jumping from a left to right scenario, where it's a lot harder to hit a shot like Hakim just did in Massacre. He was just doing a little crouch up jump spot, but zip re-aggresses, gets a kill there. Even picks up another one from that bulk spot. The two complementing each other quite well, but he's alone in the side here. He's gonna try and get this readjust to try and get the spray, but Hakim trades him out. But there we go. Elusive. It's making it a lot easier for them to clutch this out in the fake bomb plant step. Catches Elusive off guard. Is he aware of this
Hakim, you beast.
Your catchability,
Hakim,
your 2v1s, your stats.
stats getting painted on the wall here. Hakim nets a beautiful, sequence of kills there, sequence of movements and bomb baits, and all of it's in that round. So great stuff coming out of him, and he actually puts Sinister5 in the lead for half. But again, majority of the dominance getting displayed here on the T side for both sides.
Indeed, the terror side. I guess it gets easier and easier once you sort of figure out the way the team is playing, and then all you have to do is counter-util them, in the sense that you fight Banana with utility, you make sure you capture that, you push them off middle with utility, you fight them off of that, and then you set yourself up for a B split or an A split or an A wrap or just a B hit off a fake. So, I mean, those are those few steps you have to go through on a map like Inferno, because brute force doesn't really work, as there's too many nitty-gritty close angles that utility can destroy you. But we do see the Fnatic smoke coming out of Adaru there for Banana, and the front molly, they just do make it hard for the CTs to get Banana control. I love to see this Fnatic, this fallen boost coming out of them from the Banana plays. But it's not going to net them a result. They keep those two players there, but Flexi gets a shot through. Oh man, this Smith's getting destroyed. Zipson does come back with the trade, and there's no one on the side, but little do they know, the rotator is coming in and they're stuck in middle. They have been in a spot like this, Goliath Gaming, to recover a 3v5, but this is a 3v4. There's regress coming in from Diver and Apt. I mean, he's being a thorn in Goliath Gaming's side, time and time again, making it so hard for them to actually get rhythm, find balance, find a system that they can actually work with. And Zero closing it out with the orb kill of his own. And that's 21-19, and they're setting themselves up for the third map, and it looks like momentum is on Sinister5's side at this current point in time.
Yeah, indeed. They're just switching it up here, changing their aggressions, changing their timings, changing their positional rotations. I mean, moving through the house and like forfeiting control to Goliath Gaming, but then just hammering the point home afterwards and punishing their position that they've essentially given them. So Sin5 definitely rolling with some momentum here and leaving Goliath Gaming a bit perplexed, a bit puzzled here.
Indeed, perplexed. It's quite a long word. Don't know how to spell it or pronounce it, so...
You pronounced it fine. I just don't think you know how to use it in a sentence.
Perplexed. I am perplexed.
That's fine.
I'm perplexed with what's about to happen. Actually, they actually fall off Banana. I was about to say they were going to stay on to that fallen boost in Banana, and I was perplexed by that. Am I using it right?
Yeah, it sounds
Anyway, nice slow methodical default coming out of Goliath Gaming. Banana control established, so that's a tick off the box. Now mid control is next, and then we're going to end up onto a side. But Sinister5 are mounting up quite a strong defense. You are blind. You are blind, Zio. How did you do that? Timing in a game through a wall, 3 HP. The gods are on his side. Gaben is blessing him right now, but it's still 5v5, 50 seconds on the board, so potentially some nerves might be raffled. We see rotations back and forth. Sinister5 have little to no information to work with at this present time, so this smoke is going to come in handy to slow down the push on the B side a lot further, but there's a gap now. So this gap, who's it going to favor? Zio is posting it up, so
Perhaps the call should come in that there's a gap, guys. Do not cross that gap. There's 3 players sitting here, and I do think Flexi's going to cheat over towards the site now.
The exec is coming in, Zero forced back towards that pillar, regardless of the gap. He's just super blind at the moment, and finally gets taken out by Zip, but traded out quite well. Flexi gets a crazy smoke shot.
Was a gap.
Another gap. Elusive is gonna lose his mind here with all these smoke gaps that are happening in these initiations, in these breaches. And now 2v3 scenario. Divo gonna get forced to throw that molly a bit early, as the molly is oh, but he gets the frag there. Massacre goes for the shots, and now Elusive 1v2. Both players are moving up towards the site here. Gets taken out. And that is a flawless half from Sin5, I think. Yes, 3 rounds. All 3 rounds on the CT side gathered by Sin5 here. So a great showing on the CT side. The first we've seen of this game. So this puts a crazy amount of pressure on the CT side of Goliath Gaming, which in my opinion so far has not been that strong, Tools.
Not strong at all. Not strong at all. And
or is that game?
I'm thinking that's game because they won.
Was it 22? Because they needed it from 15, it was 18, so they needed 22 to win. I don't know.
I'm not the guy asked for maths. I'm not the quit maths guy.
I think that's it.